Every year since the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision of 1973, which led to the legalization of abortion across the nation, thousands of Americans gathered together in Washington, D.C. to peacefully march in defiance to a decision that violates the right which is laid out in the Declaration of Independence and in the U.S. Constitution, which is the right to life. Thousands of Americans come to represent the unborn, those who are about to take their first breaths, and the 61 million and counting who were denied the right to life since 1973. Last Friday was a historic day of that march because for the first time, the President of the United States was there. This is so significant because not even President Reagan or the Bush presidents have attended the rally, but President Trump beats to his own drum, and arguably he is the most pro-life president the U.S. has ever seen. He's reached out to Americans to let us know he's on the side of life. We saw that back in 2018 at the White House Rose Garden as he sent a message the marchers' way.
Under my administration, we will always defend the very first right in the Declaration of Independence, and that is the right to life.
And earlier this month, he let the evangelical community know at the Evangelicals for Trump campaign rally in Miami that we're standing up to the pro-abortion lobby like never before. We will never shy away from the battle to protect innocent life. This truth he even echoed at the UN to proclaim and hold the world accountable to save our children. And it's not just been talk with no action. President Trump has been paving the path forward that will potentially lead to the abolishment of legalized abortion. 187 federal judges, which includes 2 that are associate justices for the Supreme Court, who stand by the Constitution, have been installed. A conscience rule has been set in place so doctors don't have to violate their consciences by performing or encouraging abortions. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, has been modified so that insurers can't silently take money from taxpayers for abortion without them knowing it. Insurers now have to collect elective abortion payments separately from other payments. Planned Parenthood, the massive abortion provider in the U.S., shut down its Title X program after the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services prohibited Title X grantees from providing or referring patients for abortion, except in the cases of rape, incest, or medical emergency. And another key feature of the many pro-life policies implemented under the Trump administration is that fetal tissue for elective abortions can no longer be used for research and experimentation. And literally, the list of the pro-life policies implemented over the last 3 years goes on. But let's see what President Trump had to say to the American public at the March for Life, to the born and the unborn.
All of us here today understand an eternal truth. Every child is a precious and sacred gift from God. Together, we must protect, cherish, and defend the dignity and the sanctity of every human life. When we see the image of a baby in the womb, we glimpse the majesty of God's creation. When we hold a newborn in our arms, we know the endless love that each child brings to a family. When we watch a child grow, we see the splendor that radiates from each human soul.
The American public and those in the Supreme Court need to ask, when does life really begin? Because according to the Declaration of Independence, Americans have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We didn't fully and properly recognize that for almost 100 years after it was penned, alienating a large portion of the African American community. Now we must come back to our founding documents and recognize that we have erred. We need to restore the rights of our fellow Americans in the womb. I'm Abagail Hamman for Rebel News. Like and subscribe to never miss a video.